Welcome back. At a time when the Cricket World Cup in the Caribbean is being criticised for failing to attract big crowds, the Sportsworld governing body is trying to invigorate the game with an injection of new talent, and it's from a rather unexpected source. The Chinese Cricket Association has announced that it wants to have 150,000 men, women and children actively playing the game by the year 2020. In addition, they expect to have a fully functioning national league and a credible international side. Al Jazeera's Beijing correspondent Tony Cheng has more.
The Middle Kingdom, China, and the Great Wall that kept the barbarians out for so long. But today, in the 21st century, China's sucking up inspiration from all over the world. The latest foreign fad to hit China is cricket. This match, the first of a new inter-university league between Jiaotong and Tsinghua universities. But while the level of play isn't that high, there's certainly some expectation that China will make a splash on the global cricketing stage in its own unique way.
The Chinese will soon find a ball that no one else has found so far because they have ingenuity on their side, they have diligence. I'm sure they'll create a ball that we in the West Indies or India or Australia haven't really come across. I think there is this element of a magical turn.
Not surprisingly, with a game that's so foreign and new, the Chinese have been relying on imported talent to get them started. Nonetheless, there's no lack of enthusiasm amongst the players and spectators. The bright-coloured uniforms and aggressive stroke play are all part of the strategy to drag a new group of fans to a sport that's often seen as old-fashioned and boring. It's the new 2020 game that's being introduced here. Rapid results and exciting action. The Chinese Cricket Board knows that to succeed it needs to steal support from the enormous fan base that soccer and other global sports enjoy.
When China decides to do something, it does it incredibly quickly and on a massive scale. The Chinese Cricket Association has plans for 15,000 players by 2009 and to increase that to 150,000 within the next 10 years.
I think for all of our non-test playing nations, we ask them to have short-term and long-term goals, and I certainly look at the China project as a step-by-step 20, 30-year project. That's the way that we should be looking at it in terms of trying to create a national team at the higher levels. I think what it's all about now is participation, creating interest for the game and some enthusiasm.
But the real hopes for Chinese cricket success lies in middle schools like this one in Beijing's sprawling suburbs. These are the players of tomorrow, not the pampered university amateurs of today. They practice hard and it's paying off. At last year's Under-15 Asian Cricket Cup in Thailand, they finished 4th. For an hour every day after school, they go through their drills, under the watchful eye of their coach, a former professional footballer.
It's a great sport for us. It's not only good physically, but it's good mentally as well.
I can catch the ball, I can throw the ball. It's fun. It makes me physically tougher.
Cricket's still only in the earliest stages of setting down its roots in China. But the will of the Chinese cricketing authorities seem to be to take China to the highest level of the game. And they have the backing of the international cricketing community. So while China didn't make it to the West Indies, it may well be represented at the South Asian World Cup in 2011. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
OK, to surfing now, and anyone who knows anything about the sports will tell you that Australia consistently produces the best crop of surfers anywhere in the world. It may surprise you to know, however, that the most successful surfer in that country's history is a woman. Layne Beachley is an Australian sporting icon and a 7-time world champion. But she's much more than that. The 34-year-old has single-handedly inspired the next generation of girls to take up the sport. And as Beachley approaches the end of her professional career, she's now trying to hold off the young stars that grew up emulating her style, as Wayne Hay now reports.
She She's the undisputed queen of surfing, and with 34 years behind her, probably has to do a bit more of this than she used to.
Yeah, I'm ready. Ready to go have some fun.
Layne Beachley's won 7 world titles. She's the veteran of the women's pro circus, but far from feeling jaded, she still considers herself fortunate to have a job that's anything but taxing.
Right now it's just coming down to pure passion and love of surfing, and I'm still having fun travelling the world and getting paid to go surfing, so I've got the best lifestyle in the world.
She also sits on the board of the Association of Surfing Professionals, and her longevity in the sport means she's well placed to gauge the state of women's surfing.
I started surfing back in 1976. I was 4 years old, and there weren't any girls in the water. Now I see girls walking to school with surfboards under their arms. There's all-girls surf schools. There's a multi-billion-dollar industry based off of the profits of a women's surfing line. You know, it's grown exponentially, and it's going to continue to do so.
Still, there are only 17 women on the top tour. The men's circuit has 45. But Beachley says increasing the number of women would have to come with an increase in prize money, because most of them operate at a financial loss over the course of the year.
I've been requesting a prize money increase for several years now. I finally got it up to $80,000. The men's prize money is still at $300,000. So of course I'd love to see the women's tour reach similar levels, but that's not going to happen overnight.
In the water, this could be the toughest year of Beachley's long professional career. The challenges to her crown are many, and many of them are fellow Australians.
I feel that the depth of talent coming through the ranks is probably at its peak right now. It's definitely at its strongest.
In fact, 9 out of the top 17 women in the world are from down under. Leading the lineup of Aussies out to topple Beachley is the current rankings leader, 2005 world champion Chelsea Hedges. Then there's rookie Stephanie Gilmore, who won her first tour title last year as a wild card. The 19-year-old from New South Wales believes there's no secret to the Aussies' success. It's a simple case of having some of the world's best conditions at their back door.
Especially on the East Coast, we've got perfect waves just about every day, so we really just get to practice a lot, and and all the Aussie girls are just hungry. We just really want to win.
Winning is something Layne Beachley's done plenty of in her career, but whether or not she decides to push on for an 8th world title this year remains to be seen.
To be quite honest, I don't know what the year holds for me. I haven't come into this season with any goal or any focus or anything. I'm actually too relaxed, I think, is my issue at the moment.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
If she does set goals, experience would suggest she'll be tough to beat again. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Coolangatta, Australia.
Finally, thousands of young footballers in Africa dream of being the next Samuel Eto'o or Didier Drogba. Their goal, to play their favourite game and escape a life of poverty. Many families are actually willing to pay agents a small fortune in the hope their sons can join a European club. But their dreams are more likely to be exploited than realised. Al Jazeera's West Africa correspondent Gabby Benezes reports.
Football is more than just a game in West Africa. These boys see it as the way out of poverty. Alfred Ouattara and 33 others were promised contracts with European football clubs. The boys from the local club were asked to pay $600 in travel expenses to a man claiming to be a football agent. It turned out to be a scam. Alfred estimates the bogus agents were given about $10,000 in all.
I felt very frustrated. I saw my dream smashed. I felt that the sky was falling on my head. I had left my country. I was tricked by 2 people, and it had been very painful for me.
Apparently, en route to Europe, he and the other boys ended up abandoned in Mali. One of the agents said he needed to visit his sick mother in London and never returned. After 2 months, they were discovered by the Malian authorities in an abandoned house. They were reunited with their disappointed families in Ivory Coast. Their passion for football is undiminished. Jean-Pierre and his friends play football computer games when they're not training. He still sees football as his chance to make money.
I'm not going to give up. I know that I will go to Europe someday. I have faith in myself and faith in God. If I persevere, it will happen one day.
The man who tricked the teen has been arrested by the Malian police, but the savings of their parents will probably never be recovered. Gabby Menezes, Al Jazeera.
And that's all we have time for on this edition of Sportsworld. As ever, you can keep up to date with all the sports news on our website. That's aljazeera.net/English. I'm Andy Richardson. You're watching Al Jazeera.